What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. Jason, is Terry Rozier enough to put the Miami Heat onto the same tier with Boston and Milwaukee? No, of course not. But it does make them better. And most importantly, it maintains their flexibility moving forward. Miami is telling you they don't think DeJounte Murray is worth whatever the cost to pay is. They don't think DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine are going to be transformative players for the Miami offense. Now, you can argue whether or not they let Dame slip. That's a whole other discussion. And again, similar to the conversation around Adrian Griffin, as we zoom out, some of this doesn't make sense. But as we zoom in to right now, look who's available. Terry Rozier, you're going to get a good chunk of what a DeJounte Murray brings to the table, and for less on a shorter-term deal. So I understood that, right? Now, specifically on a basketball front, how does Terry Rozier make the Heat better? First and foremost, he fundamentally changes the physical profile of the team. I've talked a lot about this with the Lakers specifically as it pertains to Bruce Brown. When you have a really good athletic front court, like a Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, or a LeBron James and Anthony Davis, or a Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brook Lopez, but you have lesser athletic players on the perimeter, you can still run into issues because it's just really hard for those guys to cover all the gaps. We've seen that in a resounding way with the Bucks and the Lakers this year, right? So specifically what I like is you're giving yourself a really, really good athlete at the guard position who also can play both sides of the floor alongside Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. You're changing the athletic profile of the team. You're making it so that you are incredibly athletic in all three position groups, at least within your core lineups. I really, really like that piece. And again, at the guard position, it's different. We talk about at the forward position and center position, it's matchup attacking in the post. It's rim protection. It's the ability to switch onto smaller guards and hold your own. It's help defense, low man possessions, tagging rollers, blocking shots, cleaning up the defensive glass, weak side rotations. At the guard position, it's a lot of just point of attack stuff. It's generating dribble penetration while containing dribble penetration on the other end. That's the fundamental athletic imposition of a really good athletic guard, right? And Terry Rozier is just an excellent athlete at his position, right? The Memphis game last night, obviously the Heat lost, bad loss. That to me is just regular season basketball, right? And Memphis is one of those, what do I keep telling you guys about young athletic teams in January that don't really have anything to lose? Right, we've seen this with the Jazz. We're seeing it with Memphis now. Even Portland has had their moments. These young athletic teams are going to have a lot of success in the NBA regular season, especially around this time of year when teams aren't playing hard consistently, right? But in that game, Terry Rozier was beating people off the dribble. Doing it in pick and roll. We talked about how important it is in pick and roll to engage the screen defender to open up other pieces, right? That's what allows Bam Adebayo to get behind the pick and roll defender. The only way to prevent a screen defender from keeping the roller and the ball handler in front is to engage him fully. Terry can do that by getting real downhill rim pressure and ball screens. And then on switches, there was a play in the second half. Terry Rozier gets Xavier Tillman on a switch, just a nasty dribble move, gets right by Xavier Tillman all the way to the basket. That's an important part of beating pick and roll coverages that end in switches. So that's the offensive side of things. And then on the defensive end of the floor, it's just a better athlete at the guard position that can contend with the other great athletes around the league. Again, look at it just specifically with the playoff context. It just adds another two-way athlete to your position group where you did not have a two-way athlete. Now you have Bam as kind of that defensive fulcrum, offensive fulcrum. Then you have Jimmy as that versatile forward. Then you have Terry Rozier as your two-way athlete guard. Which, again, as I've said, one of the most important archetypes in the league. You can kind of start to see the team starting to take shape with a skill guard like Tyler Herro. And then an athlete guard like Terry Rozier, right? My versatile defensive coverage guru and Bam Adebayo that can switch and drop and high drop and blitz and do all these things. And then I've got Jimmy and think about what Jaime Jaquez Jr. can do is more of a matchup attacking forward, and Jimmy can guard on the perimeter. It's you start to see things just start to make sense from the athletic profile of the team, right? The NBA season is in full swing, and when I can't get enough of the action on the court, I spice things up by betting on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. I was looking at the lines for making the playoffs today, and you can get the Lakers at plus 115 to make the playoffs, and the Warriors, check this out, at plus 205 to make the playoffs. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code HOOPS. That's HOOPS. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code HOOPS. That's HOOPS. The crown is yours. Secondly, secondary shot creation. He's a slightly above average pick and roll shot creator in Charlotte, but we have to remember it's Charlotte, right? He 485 points on 494 pick and rolls, just under a point per possession, 55th percentile. But most of that was related to his passing and who he was passing the ball to. Terry shot 50% when he shot in pick and roll, 58% in effective field goal percentage when we weight it for threes. That's 1.11 points per pick and roll where he shoots. That's in the 93rd percentile. He also gets 1.3 points per his own shot attempt out of ISO. So, like, he can score the basketball. And again, even when it comes to the stuff with Charlotte and the rest of the roster, even despite that, he had a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, 6.6 assists per game, 2.2 turnovers per game. So, totally solid secondary shot creator. Gives you an additional offensive weapon on a team that was a bottom 10 offense before the trade. He scored 23 points per game in Charlotte. So here's the thing. In summary, do I think he puts Miami on the same tier with Boston or Milwaukee? No. But that guy wasn't really available except for Dame this last summer, right? So you made a smaller move that maintained some of your future flexibility, made you better in the short run. But yeah, I mean, you're going to be outgunned again when you get into some of these late playoff rounds. I do think that it closes the gap somewhat and does give Miami more of a puncher's chance. But yeah, like obviously we'd be lying to ourselves if we think Terry Rozier is the difference between that Boston Celtics team and this Miami Heat team, or that Milwaukee Bucks team and this Miami Heat team. But I do like the deal. I like the deal because it makes the Heat more interesting, it makes them better, and it maintains their ability to make a move in the future.